And once the majority of the plastic clips are separated, you should be able to remove that plastic cover from the unit. With the cover off, the first thing you're going to notice is the battery immediately in front of you. We're going to go ahead and start removing that battery with our plastic spudger. We want to pry up on it, trying to separate the small amount of adhesive holding it down. And once pried up, do not forget to disconnect the plug from the motherboard before removing it from the Kindle. Let's go ahead and move on to our speaker assembly. The connection for the speaker assembly is located under a foamy piece of tape. Once we peel back that tape, we can remove the plug from the motherboard. And remove the two small Phillips screws that are securing the speaker assembly into the Kindle. With the two screws removed, we can remove the speaker assembly from the unit. Now we're going to start working towards removing the motherboard from the unit. Let's start with removing some of our connections, the first one being our LCD ribbon cable. Next to the ribbon cable, there's a small antenna plug that needs to be pulled up. Our power button ribbon cable is next in line, which sits in a locking socket. We need to unlock that socket before removing the connection for that cable. And the last of our ribbon wires is the touchscreen ribbon wire, which also has a locking socket. Attached to our touchscreen ribbon cable is a control unit. Looks like a bar-coded connection. It's held down with two small Phillips screws that need to be removed. Last piece to remove the motherboard would be its securing screws. There's 6 in total. Let's use our small Phillips screwdriver to remove these screws. With the screws removed, it's just a matter of maneuvering the motherboard safely out of the Kindle. We can quickly get the power button out of the way. It's held down with one small Phillips screw. If we remove that screw, the power button assembly comes right out. We want to remove this metal frame from the unit as well. It's held down with 5 small Phillips screws. Let's go ahead and remove these Phillips screws. And before removing the frame from the Kindle, let's take out this antenna at the bottom of the unit so that we don't cause any damage to it. A simple pry up with the spudger helps remove it. And then we can work towards taking the metal frame out. Now with just our bare display assembly, we want to remove our LCD held down by 4 Phillips screws, 1 at each corner. With the screws removed, the LCD easily separates from the touchscreen. Looking at the broken touchscreen, you're going to recognize that it has a plastic frame all the way around the unit. And in order to peel back that touchscreen and separate it from the plastic frame, we're going to use our heat gun or blow dryer to heat it up and soften that adhesive so that we can push the broken glass out of the frame. Be very careful not to use too much force so that you don't crack or break the plastic frame. A combination of a little force, your plastic spudger, and some patience is all you need to separate the broken glass out of the plastic frame. Slowly work yourself all the way around the frame until the touchscreen is completely out. In the case of our Kindle, with the severely broken screen, we had a lot of excess broken glass and debris that was left stuck in our adhesive. Before installing our replacement part, we're obviously going to need to clean up this plastic frame by scraping it with our spudger and removing all the old adhesive. All right, we have returned to assemble our Kindle Fire. We took a little bit of time to scrape out the broken glass as well as the old adhesive from the plastic trim ring so that when we install our new replacement part, everything fits flush and clean. Here's our replacement touchscreen from FixEasy.com. We'll show you a quick dry fit of the screen onto the plastic frame. After a quick dry fit, we can now pull back the screen, take off our adhesive strip covers so that we could adhere our new touchscreen to our plastic frame. Make sure you put pressure all the way around the plastic frame and secure that touchscreen around the perimeter of the Kindle. With our touchscreen securely in place, we now want to complete our display assembly by reinstalling our LCD. Take a moment to clean off any dust or debris that's on the LCD, because once installed, cleaning is going to be inaccessible. Before laying the LCD in place, do not forget to peel back the protective cover on the inside of the touchscreen. We can now reinstall the LCD with our 4 Phillips screws. With the display assembly completed, we can now reinstall our metal frame back into the unit, clipping it in place, and then securing it down with its 5 small Phillips screws. Let's go ahead and install our antenna down at the bottom of the unit. Place it in its housing and gently push it down back into its adhesive, securing it in place. Our power button is next in line. 1 Phillips screw secures this unit in place. When we go to reinstall our motherboard, let's connect the ribbon cable for our power button first, as it's easier to make this connection before we secure the motherboard in place. With our motherboard securely in place, we can now bolt it down